Has anybody ever met somebody they don't particularly like? Oh, see? Lady with the white cardigan, what is your name? Caroline. Look, hand was straight up. Yes. She's like, yes. All the time I meet people that I don't like. But sometimes we don't know why. Sometimes we don't know why. We just don't click with them. So to me, it all comes down to this cross. You will get the slides, so Karen will be able to distribute, but sometimes people are task focused, others are relationship. Some people are introvert and other people are extrovert. So again, this is so important that you grasp this for the espresso chats and the feedback, because it comes back to why some people take feedback better than others. So to put this together, what I'm going to do is I'm hypothetically going to take you all back to school. It's not right, we're not going, Caroline, we're not going, okay. And I'm hypothetically going to give you an English test which will last for 30 minutes, okay? You're in the zone, 30-minute English test, you get the paper, and what will happen, you'll have somebody in your class who's a task-focused extrovert, and they put up their hand after 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes in, hey miss, I'm finished. Check me out, I'm a winner, you're all a bunch of losers. But when the test paper results come back, oh, I didn't realise there's another side to that paper. Because for the task-focused extrovert, actually it wasn't about getting an A star or an A star star, it was about being finished first. Think about your teams. Think about the people you work with, maybe even the people you live with, because this is why I'm so passionate about everything being a sale, because it comes down to behaviours and relationships. So we go back to our test, and after 10 minutes, we've got the yellow, the relationship-focused extrovert. So after 10 minutes, it's really just started. But Karen, I love you, like, Reach, Karen, that was a great event, wasn't it? Oh, it was really good, and we were there, and Rebecca was there. Alison McCall, can you get back to the test? I forgot there was a test, we were busy having a chat. So again, relationship-focused extroverts, some people, that's not their cup of tea. But they're not even thinking about the task. It's all about the people. But because they're extroverts, then you'll know that they're in the room. We then move across to the greens. So the greens are the relationship-focused introverts. So already my tone, my pace, and my gesturing is just a little bit slower. Because the greens don't want to stand out, they're introvert. So we go back to the test, which lasts, how long does the test last? 30 minutes. After 10 minutes, the green will notice that Caroline's got a headache. Miss, my friend Caroline's got a headache. I think I should take her to the nurse. So for the greens, the relationship was more important than the task, the test. Greens do not like change. They don't like confrontation. So what they tell you is, they don't want to tell you that they don't like change. They'll just say, yeah, change, yeah, that's fine. And what happens is the overwhelm is actually growing inside them, and it's growing inside them, and it's growing inside them. These people will be in your teams. It's how you manage that. Then we move back to our test, which lasts 30 minutes, right up to the last second. The blue is checking their work, double checking their work. Did I dot my I? Did I cross my T? Because for them, they strive for perfection. Their task is to get the A star or the A star star. So I ask again, who's ever met somebody they don't get on with very well? Most of you look somewhere like, oh my God, sure, I might be a bit green, don't want to put my hand up, she might pick on me. But if you've got the reds are be brief, be bright, be gone, quick, quick, quick. It's the slow greens that have to think about things, that you're not building the relationship. If you're down here, leading the Disney parade, woohoo! It's the dull, boring blues that never show enthusiasm. If you're here and Carey Sherry green and everything's got to be nice and harmonious, it's those pushy reds. Oh, they want everything done now. They don't give me time to think. They don't even say please and thank you. They're so rude. And if you're up here in attention to detail blue, it's those annoying yellows that just never shut up. So can you see how that's really fundamental to everything? Right, do you think you're yellow? See, can you see? Literally, it's hilarious because when the yellows, they start really just having conversations with themselves. What do you need to do to engage better with the greens? Greens with the reds, blues with the yellows, and yellows with the reds. So if you start now, again, I want the leader to tell me what the consensus of the group is. Right, oh look now, oh. Do we think it's the yellow team that are still talking? Yes, and the greens, the relationship. These guys in the task focus a lot. I wish they would shut up so we can get on with it. Right, okay, are we back? Everybody back, fantastic. Again, you know, this is something that we could do all day and never run out of content on, but so we're sharp and to the point. So, if we're going to start, normally you'd start with the reds because they're task focused and want to go first, but I'm going to start with the greens. So I've got two group leaders. Greens, what do you need to do with your behaviours to build stronger relationships with the reds?
One side is to be more concise, so try to kind of model what they're expecting.
Yeah.
But the other side is, well actually, that's not necessarily what we want, so we want them to adapt slightly to us. So manipulate, basically.
I mean, you know, it's really interesting. It's an interesting thing because the debate in the team will come from the blends. So you'll have some people who are in the green, but they're green yellows, and you'll have some people in this team who are actually green blues, and that's where some of the debate comes. So I've got a question. When it comes to sales, not that any of you are, you know, goodness forbid you're not in sales, but who has to adapt? The salesperson or the customer? Every time the salesperson. When it comes to leadership and management, who has to adapt? Well, pretty much everyone. Until your team have done this, it's got to be your guys. So that's where the adaptation comes in, but this is where in big organisations, if everybody knows the behaviours, everybody has to adapt. So yeah, but for them, a wee bit faster, less waffle, is that what we think? Anything else?
Had the same thing, but also emphasising, I guess, what we bring to the Reds, so where we can work with them to kind of help to complement their skills as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things we talked about at lunch is a lot of people go, oh yeah, those reds and those blues, they're all task focused, they get the job done, but they forget about the people. A really good jigsaw has got all the parts, a really good team has got all the parts, and you know, you are the sum of all the parts to make the team. So let's have a wee look. So be direct and be certain. Do you like that when people are direct and certain? Yeah, oh look there, yeah. I was comfortable with that, that's good, here we go. Don't waffle or hesitate. How do you feel when people waffle? Frustrated. So again, that, oh, I'm really sorry to bother you, really sorry, that's frustrating. What do you want? Follow their pace. So again, you know, if we look at the pure colour here, watch for impatience. Oh, I think this is really, really important. Down here, all of these colours here. How do we know when the red is feeling frustration and it's not going to their pace? What do they do?
Switch off, right? Do their own thing. Shut the notepad.
I thought you were going to say shut the front door. So it is really funny because they will do that, but there's a telltale sign, right? There's a telltale sign. The reds will do this. And has anybody ever used the self-scan at the supermarket? See what I just did there? See that noise? Yeah, Dan, I'll be with you in a minute. Some imbecile in front of me doesn't know how to scan the flowers. Watch for that noise because the reds subliminally huff. So you'll know that you're not on par with their pace. It's to do with the pace. And then propose options clearly. They're not keen on the waffle. Okay, so the blue team. What about the yellows? What do we need to do to build a stronger relationship with the yellows?
Like big, deep, meaningful conversations, be approachable, spend time with them.
Oh, hang on. Do you like the deep, meaningful conversations? Oh, no, they don't like that. They like the happy, short, really, like no detail. I don't mean no detail, but not much detail, because they'll start, and again with them, they'll start playing with their phone or what, their head will be all over the place. So again, not too deep and meaningful. These are more deep and meaningful here. Anything else? Who's the other group leader? The yellows.
We had don't get straight into detail and specifics, and maybe take time to talk about social things and build a relationship over the long term. Karen's nodding at me.
Yeah.
And then break things down a little bit more rather than a long list of tasks. Just take it step by step.
Well done, perfect. Because if you give them too much detail, you're just going to lose them. So again, it's about this adaptation. So if we look at the yellows, ask open questions to allow them to talk. Now we are going to talk about open questions in this session. How do we stop them from talking? Any clue? If we ask open questions to get them to talk, how do we make them stop?
Close questions.
Close questions, again, because you've not got all the time in the world, you've got to try and close it down but still keep the relationship strong. Be upbeat, expressive and smile. See what I'm doing? See, they like the smiling over there. But sometimes it's really hard, I don't mean this badly, but it's quite hard to multitask and think and smile at the same time, isn't it? And sometimes we forget to do that smiling. In old school, so I come from my original sales background was for BT, one of the first call centres that they ever opened, so this is back in the day, and it was all over the walls. Smile before you dial. And I know it sounds really odd, but actually when you smile, your voice goes up and down, and when your voice goes up and down, people listen to you more. So you shouldn't be like the Cheshire Cat, but actually a little smile just helps. Focus on the benefits for them, and again, if you can relate a story, because they're relationship focused. Oh yeah, I saw that happen before with somebody, and I understand how that might have affected you. So again, related stories to them. Okay, that makes sense. Where am I? Hello, the reds. The greens. What do we need to do? Who's the group leaders in the red team?
Give context for everything that you're talking about. Give them time to reflect. And ask questions.
But they're not,
And show them that you care. So ask more questions outside task focus.
Oh, look, you like that? People really care about you. They're not just want to get their pound of flesh for work.
They look a bit pissed off.
It's because they're introvert, they're thinking about it. And I think, that's quite an interesting point, because I was saying to Karen, like I work with a lot of salespeople, and they're quite, some of them are quite extrovert, but when I work with the customer service team, because I believe sales and customer service is the same, there's a lot of greens and a lot of blues. And sometimes I think, oh, I'm just not, they don't like me, I'm not touching them, they're not getting it. And it's just because they're introverts, it takes them longer. And so, let me give you an example. Who has got a favourite band? Perfect. Who's your favourite band?
London Grammar.
Right, London Grammar. Who's the lead singer of London Grammar?
Hannah.
Does anybody else like London Grammar?
No.
You do, okay. It's a green thing. So it's not particularly uplifting, is old London Grammar. Anyway, so Hannah's going to walk in this room, and what will happen is, let's say that everybody is London Grammar fans, and what will happen is the greens will be like, oh my goodness, there's Hannah. Hannah's walked in. I love Hannah. I love London Grammar. Oh, I love that. I really want her autograph. Oh, she'll be really busy, she won't want my autograph. She'll be doing all these other things, but I really want an autograph, and oh, that would look great on my gram. Can you imagine me and Hannah? And in the meantime, when the Greens are arguing with themselves whether they should pluck up the courage and go, these guys are already here with a selfie, and they're already invited to our pad in London. So again, some of the times it's the Greens that hold themselves back. So you need to give them that time, because they're having a conversation with their heart and their head. And if you don't give them that time, you're not going to get the best out of them. Who's the other group leader in the red?
Sure, letting them make decisions as well, ask them questions, listen to the answers, That was a magic word.
Slowly. As I'm doing now.
I mean, I think that I love the fact that listening is great, but again, you have to be careful. They're not 5, they're not stupid, they're just in the green corner. And again, I think what you don't want to do is patronise people. So where they have to pick up the pace a little bit, you guys have to slow down. Don't push them. So what the tendency is with the Greens are actually thinking, and the Blues, you know, over here, when you ask them a question, and then there's a gap. And when there's a gap in the conversation, what do you guys do? Fill it. How do you feel when you're thinking and somebody fills the gap? Oh look, see, they're shaking their heads, it's that gap. Don't fill the gap, give them time. And I think the main thing here is genuine care. Genuine. When you're having these conversations, when you ask, you know, how is your son after he's, you know, fell off his bike? Wait for them to tell you, don't go, right, okay, well that's great then, I'm glad we got that sorted. Does it sound familiar? Because that's what we do. Right, last but not least, yellows to the blues. What do you guys need to do?
Do some pre-work beforehand so don't ambush you for an important decision. Instead, book a meeting in and give you some stuff beforehand so you can think about it before coming in the room.
Oh, look, they're like, yeah, they're loving that, they're nodding their heads. So again, don't ambush them, I love that. Be prepared. You know, what happens is when you guys turn up for meetings and these guys are all ready to rock and roll and you go, oh, hang on, I forgot my pad. Oh, wait a minute, how does that make you feel? Oh, look at his eyebrow, look! Slow down, so again, that whole, they're like, oh, stop, just stop, breathe. And then be formal and structured, and you know, I think it's just having that structure and putting it in when you've got those meetings. But can you see from this exercise how it's really important that your teams are all completely different? And when you are building those relationships and creating that network, that you realise where you sit with this.